It's Monday. You know what happens on Mondays.
The
life
I don't know. Is that when they pick up recycling? Is that Monday?
No, in my neighborhood, it's Tuesday. But if you get up early enough on Wednesday morning, that's always an option.
Back.
Welcome back. Just in time to discuss the most adult feeling in the world: missing trash pickup.
Yeah.
God, mine is tomorrow. I have missed it more times than I can count. So hopefully I don't sleep in tomorrow.
That's how you know you're a real adult, once you start missing the trash pickup.
Yep.
If you wake up early enough, you do it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, waking up early. That's the spirit. So, how have you guys been? How's your weekend?
Zoe?
Mine was okay. I was just kind of relaxing, I guess. I didn't do anything in particular. Super boring answer. I went for a nice long run on, I think it was Saturday, like 5 miles, which was better than I usually do. So that was good. You, Bl'Art?
For some reason, I misheard you. I thought you said you, Mark, and I got really confused.
Yeah.
Nope, never guessed
Mark
today. It's Mark.
Us.
Could you imagine? No, it was a nice weekend. I got my nose all fixed up, so I sound normal again, which is terrific. I'm feeling great. Can breathe again. Big fan of that. And I had a nice picnic with my family. We had a number of birthdays in our family, so we all kind of got together and had a nice picnic, which was pretty delightful.
Fantastic. Shadowheart says, "What's a weekend for a workman?" That's a great point. And I totally revamped the welcome, Daniel, Shadowheart, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Another Monday, another live stream. I did update the channel points, and it seems that Daniel, the channel point hoarder, has already used redeem make me talk in an accent. So, could not be a worse time. It's the very beginning of the show, so every time new people come in, they will hear me talking this accent. We'll do it until 8:40. Hopefully I'll talk as little as possible. I'm going to do British. Daniel could have done that at a better time, my friend. Oh, live stream. What's up, C-Sam? Oh, wait, I got to start now? Is that how it works? This was Blart's idea.
Well, it's because 1 or 2 streams ago, you did a very good, I want to say, Minnesotan accent, and I thought that was real solid.
Well, it's
I
time.
I didn't realize we were going to be signing up for a variety sort of thing. This is great.
Yeah, I'm going to try to talk as little as possible. I'll talk as little as possible, but it'll be an English accent. Thanks so much for the channel points, Daniel. Should have made it a higher point total, but my weekend.
I know we were talking about one day having Geets on. I feel like he's never going to join us after hearing this.
Well, I'm having a pint. He'll be all right. I'm just having a
Big
point.
spender Daniel.
Daniel's. Cheers.
Cheers.
That
So we had ourselves a. So it sounds like it was a pretty sleepy weekend for us. I know, Raw, you mowed the lawn, grilled meats, and lived your best life, yeah?
It's become a running joke. Is it a joke? It's become a running.
A lock?
Yeah, you know what you're going to get from me. I'm a simple man with simple tastes. I did indeed mow. I weed-eated the yard a little bit. I grilled chicken thighs on Saturday night. And this weekend, football starts. So I'll be having a big-ass tailgate on Friday. My power rises to its maximum level with the fall. So the fall's coming very soon, and so I can feel my power, like, slowly, cresting right now. It's reaching a crescendo. And this is the beginning of it, football season.
That's exactly what we're here to talk about, right? Football? So you follow football. I don't know anything about football.
I actually do follow football a little bit. Not a ton, but I am a Jets fan, so...
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so
sorry. It's rough out here.
It sucks.
Well, we'll have to save it for the football podcast when we start that up.
Yeah, I thought we were going to break down the draft. I've got my notes here, but we can go back to DFO if you guys would rather. That's fine with me.
I feel like that might be what the people are here to see. I don't want to speak for them. I mean, folks, if you want us to dissect the draft
Maybe it'll
between
be a sub goal. Maybe it'll be a sub goal. Shadowheart said football. We can talk football also.
the football,
So what's happened since the last time we've been together? I guess the Squeck stream was today. Do you guys want to touch on that a little bit? Did you guys watch it, Blart? Did you catch it live?
I was at work, so I couldn't. I kind of had to be in and out of it, but I caught the slides and some of the stream itself. I know Josh made a lot of people cringe by joking about Una X Seymour, which is a little bit ironic given a lot of the comments that you see in the chat during that.
Ooh, yeah, not good.
Well, basically, you see a lot of the folks were just like squeamish about it, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, I feel like half of you guys are the same ones who were giving Crystal shit earlier, so maybe just take a look, take a backseat there.
Yeah, I'm worried about the 2D instead of the 3D in front of them.
But I thought it was a great joke, so Josh continues to be my hero.
CSAM mentioned that he did not mention the 3LD banner, but he did a couple times. He basically said they cannot comment on it, but he hears you, and that's it. That's all he said. He said he can't comment on it, and he's not ignoring you. If you were bringing it up in the chat, I thought it was nice. He didn't have to do that, but he addressed chat and said, "Hey, if you could just be civil and respectful, we're all good. I am seeing what you're saying, but at this point, at this moment, we do not have anything. We have nothing to say about that."
I think that's fair. I know, in the past when there's been an outcry, Josh has addressed it on screen. This was a pretty recent thing, so maybe for whatever reason they didn't have something prepared. But I trust them to hear the feedback. He said that he goes back and he reads the chat, and I'm sure that's not the only place they're getting the feedback on this banner, which we'll get to a little bit later. But
yeah, we will get to that. There was situations, but overall, I think the stream went on without a hitch. We found out that Crystal speaks Japanese or reads Japanese at the very least. So that was cool.
Could someone just go check on Mino and make sure he's still breathing?
Yeah, I think that he started hyperventilating when he heard that, and then he heard that she doesn't even play the game that much, and I think that's when he really just went through the roof. You know how he's all about touching grass. Mino, we know you're in here.
So, I guess I don't want to like redo the whole stream. That was part of why we kind of agreed not to just restream the stream because everyone does that. But I guess we could talk real quick about the the high level bullet points of what we got out of it. Yeah. There was a quality of life that I have mixed feelings on, because on the one hand it's not the most impactful quality of life we've ever had. On the other hand, I'm like, part of me's like this was a long time coming.
Yeah.
And I'm of course talking about the command text ability text box thing. Basically, they added a scroll bar so that the text is going to show up bigger, so you don't have to squint to read some of the incredibly tiny rules text that they've been having.
For the elderly,
That's good.
for the elderly like me, who have a little bit of issues reading small text on your phone, it's going to be great. Basically, when you hold on a character for a long time, it shows all their buffs or whatever are on like this right here. It's going to be all blown up, and you can scroll through it, and you don't have to look at it.
Actually, I don't know if you saw part of the thing is they actually changed it so it's not, you don't have to hold it anymore. It's like you hold it to open it up, but once it's open, it stays open until you click somewhere else on the screen so that you can use the scroll. Which, I mean, it's a minor thing, but this game, as I was saying before we hopped on, has a bit of a text creep situation, so I think it's a very healthy change to make.
Yeah, they're looking out for the boomers, like me. So when I put my reading glasses on, it won't hurt my eyes when I'm trying to read these. Zoe, did you watch the stream? Do you care about the quality of life? It is global first. Global first.
It's global first. I didn't know that. I didn't watch the stream. I was busy with some stuff for real life purposes, and it looked. I did check out the slides in the server and that were posted, so it seemed pretty standard to me. That UniBT is going to be on Agrius is probably like the most important thing that came out of the stream for me, confirming that they weren't going to do another no BT banner for an event LD. So that's good to hear, probably. Yeah, I guess that's it. I expected them to like change up the VV Deuce banner a little bit, but it doesn't look like they're going to do that. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, he did actually make a little kind of a joke. Josh did. He said, I saw some naysayers in chat mentioning that Agrius wouldn't have a BT, but we are here to confirm Agrius banner will feature Eunice BT, so that's good news. We also, at the very end, I don't want to spend too much time on the Squeak stream, but at the very end, we got a Zidane screenshot. Apparently, he's going to make some questionable decisions in the second to next story chapter and become friends with Ultimecia. Anybody see that?
I did see that. I mean, I've been using Ulti a lot, so I get it. I'm with him on this. Kind of jump. Yeah, no, I'm interested to see where the story goes, because a lot. The stories I find tend to be one of two things. It's either rehashing stuff from one of the games, or it's doing actual interesting, nifty stuff with the characters. Like the one where like Noctis and Locke and Noel became best friends. That was a great episode because it was
sick.
Like, whereas like the ones where it retold part of Final Fantasy VI. I'm like, okay, we did that already. So like, I'm interested to see them do some of that mix and match.
Yeah, it's good for me because typically I don't even care to read the story, but if Zidane's going to be in like a main player in the story, a chapter, absolutely. Shadowheart was a good Pikachu level joke. Zidane has a thing for daggers. Wah, wah. Protein,
well played,
swords,
my man.
Daggers. I'm going to time Shadowheart out real quick. I don't think I know how to do that. I wish Poto was here to do that. Daniel, it's a joke. Don't do it, please. God. Roll, why do you pronounce names wrong? Zidane.
Oh, God.
Zidane, okay? Zidane. Well, let's move on. Squeak's stream was basic. We got pretty much what we thought we would, and a little tiny quality of life. A bigger deal was the Setzer LD banner, which was a triple LD banner. So crack open a drink because this one is controversial. Zoe, do you want to start? Zoe, how did you find this triple LD banner? No BT. Sets are finally arrived.
I don't have too many thoughts on it, to be honest. I was never going to pull on this banner, whether it was triple LD or had a BT on it, but I think it's a little bit annoying just for, like, the value of the banner definitely go down running a rerun LD that didn't get anything new, and it's pretty bad not to have a burst on it, so I think they were just trying to cash in on Setzer a little bit and try and get people to spend on, like, the last... Are there even any banners with T's BT left? Like, is Leon the only one left? Okay, Rosa and Reno are still up, so it would force people, if they wanted to, like, still pick up Titus BT, it would force them to go to Rosa Reno or Leon Jack, which are, like, probably not exactly as good as Setzer Titus for the people who wanted to do that. So I kind of get that people are annoyed by it. I think that it's annoying it took something like this happening to Setzer, a character, like, widely beloved for meta reasons, to get more people to care about the business trying to fuck them over, but that's just kind of like people's selfish natures getting at them. But it is a bad banner, so I'm definitely like glad they aren't doing it again with Agrius, and hopefully this was a one-time thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it was obvious. It's a bad banner. There's no BT on it. There was a BT in JP. If you're upset about it, okay, you're upset. Whatever. Multiple things to address though. Josh went into the main court and said he warned everybody. He's like, look, these are the banners that it's on. Gave us a warning. And the other thing is, it's global versus JP. It's different. It's going to be different. This is a business. I said it last week. I don't get it. I understand not being happy because it's no BT, but it's going to change every time. Like, not every time. It's going to change sometimes. I misspoke. Sometimes it's not going to be exactly what JP is, and so pay attention to the monthly streams and the wording, and obviously Josh went out of his way to what the hell happened here? Josh went out of his way to let us know, hey, Titus is only on these banners, so I think it's kind of blown out of proportion.
Well, I gotta disagree with you on there a little bit. I mean, here's the thing. He let us know ahead of time, but that's not really. I don't think advance notice in this case is really quite enough, because the thing is, like, basically, since the LGBT era started, we've pretty much always had a BT on the banner. That's kind of par for the course. It's part of this kind of guarantee. Part of what makes DFFOO an attractive game to a lot of people is there's this kind of guaranteed gamble to it. There's an extra layer of value you get out of investing into the game. The burst weapon is super kind of, it's this valuable kind of rare thing to chase, and it's. I don't want to say. I mean, obviously, there's no social contract there. They can do whatever they want, but there's been this understanding, and including in this banner, there was a precedent even for to have Titus BT. So let me put it this way. I'm kind of going on a tangent. If I tell my wife, hey, I'm not going to do the dishes this week.
Sorry.
Letting her know in advance doesn't mean it's cool that I just decided to stop doing that. And it'll be great for me. Like, this means, hey, a week of me not having to do the dishes. This is wonderful. And, like, she can't actually, like, stop me from not doing the dishes.
Bl'Artagnan.
But, like, that is going to kind of affect the relationship a little bit. And that's kind of how I'm feeling here. I'm like, okay, Squex, yes, we can't stop you from doing this. You're entirely within your right to do it. And I think, from a business case, you probably made a killing on this. And for all we know, maybe nothing will come of it. Maybe, maybe this isn't poisoning the well. But I don't know. Like, it feels shitty. And if it becomes a pattern, I mean, what I've been saying is, once is a fluke, twice is a pattern. Since it's not happening with Agrius, I'm like, okay, I can live with this. But the fact that it happened once, maybe now I'm like kind of narrowing my eyes anytime Squex does something now. And it's like, what was the benefit of that? They got some extra tickets. We were already gonna pull on the banner. Like, why are you trying to trick us into pulling on Leon? Why Leon?
So what I hear from that is that we're fighting, you and I. Not this is drama. This is gonna cause a big drama between us. Zoe, could you type a poll and see who's right? Say, who do you agree with, Brawl or Bl'Art? Because
do we really need to do this?
It's controversial, but Bl'Art, look. I like your analogy. The wedding analogy was good, but here's my wedding analogy. It's more like if your wife looks across the street and sees your neighbor mowing their yard, and then it gets to be the next day and you haven't mowed your yard, and she's like, whoa. Why haven't you mowed our yard? Well, just because he did it, his yard is not our yard.
So you just don't have to mow. So what you're saying is you don't have to mow the lawn anymore. We're just going to let the lawn... You know what? Forget it. We don't have to mow the lawn. We'll let the lawn grow over.
All right. Our lawn
doesn't matter, and we're going to
urban zoomer head.
Okay. We'll agree to disagree. But no, I understand. I mean, you have to understand also, I'm a little bit biased. I luck-sec Titus BT on the first banner. I don't even remember what it was.
I'm also biased.
Yeah.
Speaking from the richest perspective possible
I mean,
here.
I hope it doesn't change anyone's opinion of the debate, because I'm still right in the debate, but I did luck-sack his BT, and so I couldn't care less if his BT was on here or not.
Oh my god. Raw, are you fixed dodging me?
He's literally anti-dodging you.
No, I'm not fixed dodging.
Are you demanding a Setzer saga from me? Is that what's happening right now?
I better see a lot of Setzer sagas from all these people.
Son of a bitch.
And a Titus saga. Because you guys are all upset Titus wasn't on there. Well, you're apparently pulling on another banner to get him, so I want to see some Titus sagas. Always controversy in this community.
RVK, I can't do a Waka saga. I didn't get him because I went tickets instead of gems because there was no BT on the banner. Oh,
yeah. I do feel a little bit bad about attacking Bl'Art today, or having a controversy with Bl'Art. Check out his YouTube there. He had some pulls today. We're not going to spoil anything, but there were pulls and things happened. So check those out and be a little kind to Bl'Art in the... God damn it, we already redeemed a chug of beer. But I have to tell you, Leafblade, that is the only one of the stream. We have fixed... I tested it myself before stream started. We have officially fixed chug a beer. So one lucky person per week will make me chug a beer, and then I'll be done chugging beers for the week. It's a little tough to do live stream, especially with a co-host who's so dramatic as Bl'Art, when I'm chugging beers. So, cheers. This one's for Leaf Blade.
Oh man.
Both pretty at the end of the day.
And you don't need to worry if you don't get to have Raw chug a beer on your behalf. He'll be drinking plenty of beers on his own dime throughout the course of the stream.
Right. And also, there's always next week. If you really want to see me suffer like that, because they're cold, my eyes are watering.
Drop him, make him chug more beers.
You'll just have to come next week and do it. Woo! So Zoe, you didn't care about the banner, right? You were like, whatever.
I cared for other people, but not personally.
Okay. What about the man himself, who we're arguing about, Setzer? I personally threw some tickets. My pool video is on my YouTube. I'll put it in the chat now. I did get him, spoiler, and I'm enjoying him. Bart, you want to go? How did the banner go for you? What do you want to share? And can somebody go over Setzer's kit? Who wants to talk about Setzer tonight?
I'll let Zoe talk about the kit. I'll just say that I had one of those banners where I should have quit while I was ahead. It's one of those kind of situations.
You should have quit while you were ahead.
Tough to hear. I got Vaughn on the free pull. That was my only pulling. I had to go back in for like a couple more pulls for some dupes because my power storage shortage is like a never-ending problem. I'm back down to 3 after building Vaughn to max, so we are struggling out here. Hey Chris, hey Simply, how's everybody doing?
Chris.
But yeah, Setzer, he got some stuff to put it lightly that'll carry him very far into the game.
Oh look, I'm using him on stream right now while you go over him.
Oh,
it's
this
amazing.
is perfect.
Synergy.
So he did get a rework, which was mostly just some brave hit patching and also some self buff extends. We don't have to get super nitty gritty into the numbers.
Nah.
Also got some extra damage on those, but his skills do the same thing really. You've got the freeze Joker, which is a pretty great way for boss damage mitigation in like the short times that they'll be alive, because Setzer teams will kill them very quickly. And then he also has his red card, which is a single delay, which is like, it's nice. It's like his standard spammy skill. His EX charge is super fast too, so you don't really have to worry about running out with skills with him, as his teams just like kind of mow over things because he pushes the damages in the party so high. So he does this with his LD, which gives everybody the fixed dice buff, which is basically a % chance to do the rainbow damage that we saw with Core, who is the same unit as Setzer because they both do the pride numbers, as we all know. But
Twins.
Setzer does this for the whole party, and Core does it for himself. Okay, we're not talking about Core anymore. But Setzer does it for the party. You can't extend this buff, which is fair because it's pretty freaking ridiculous. And I think it's 50% for allies at the start because he gives it to them for 6 turns. No, he gives it to them for 3 turns, right? And then he gives it to self for more turns, I believe is how it works. Bart, you want to back me up on that?
I think
sure.
it's... Yeah, Bart, go.
So Setzer actually starts the battle with 6 turns of the fixed dice for himself.
Yeah, he gets it from the LD board, right?
Yeah, so he starts with that, and then once you use it again, he applies it to the party for 6 turns for them, 9 turns for himself. And it's based on the duration starting at, I think it's 70% if it's over 6 turns.
7 plus turns is 70%, and then like 6 to 4 turns is 50%, and then it like keeps going down from there until the buff runs out.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I got him and noticed that he wasn't always making everyone hit rainbow. I'm not big into foresight, you know, so I don't cry about banners. But I didn't know that the duration of the buff remaining on the unit that's using that's attacking, the lower the duration of the buff, the lower the percentage chance that they hit rainbow.
Yeah, that's, I think, something. It's similar to how, in a way, when Porum came out, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, people aren't going to know how to use Porum," and that what they meant by that is, Porn's great on a Brave game-based team. Well, Porn's actually just great in general, but that's kind of what people were saying at that time. Setzer is even more of that case because if you run Setzer with like Tidus or Terra, they're going to burn through that buff real quick because you can't extend it. Ideally, I mean, it's powerful enough that you could probably get away with those characters because they're broke anyway, but you ideally want to put it on a character who's going to not take that many turns comparatively, but on their turns is going to do a bunch of Brave hits because each of those Brave hits is an extra chance to go Skittle.
Go Skittle. Taste the rainbow.
So right now, it doesn't really matter who you're pairing him with because the content doesn't really require it. Like, a ton of people are running Tidus, Core, and Setzer and just, like, absolutely blowing up basically any of the Lufenias that we have in the Equinox, except for the one that forces you to give them turns. But other than that, once you get into Lufenia Plus, some people are actually going to rely on Setzer entirely to do Brave damage if they want to build their party that way. And in that case, it's a little bit more important to not bring the turn stealer types, because if you're actually relying on Setzer's buff to do damage, and like Tidus, if the buff falls off, he can still do damage in current content without much support, then you might actually run into some issues there. So it's more about just like building a good practice before Lufenia Plus comes, I guess, is how I would say it.
Yeah. And Simply Lost with the follow. Appreciate it, Simply. Good content creator on YouTube. Simply Lost. Also streams on Twitch. Appreciate the follow, man. You guys go check him out.
I just want to do a quick shout out to chat. They were throwing out a number of very good Setzer pairings and before devolving into ridiculous, stupid memes. So thank you for impressing me, and then I'm so disappointed.
I'm just once the frog showed up, I just couldn't do it anymore. First thing he came in and said was "get good." So
he's
Frog,
not wrong.
He's not wrong, but also Frog totally he can't read a room because he doesn't know that Bl'Art and I are in the middle of a fight. A big fight, and I'm not in the mood to be chastised. Is that the word?
I disagree. I found it motivating. Thank you, Frog.
Thanks, Frog. We love the Frog. You guys, that's Cyndaquil God. I think he's gonna be Worry Chonk now, but he'll always be Cyndaquil God to me. What else? Setzer. I got him. I just used him. He's great. Rainbow numbers. Go boom. Did you pull? I pulled. I got him.
Yeah, I pulled. I didn't have any of the LDs in the banner, so I figured it'd be a good one to go pretty hard on. Setzer picked him up. That's spoilers, right? I also picked up Omnia, which I'm happy about because that's just a good LD to have. I'm sad because I actually really wanted Waka because Waka's really good for Zero Eye Brave, and I love doing Zero Eye Brave, but turns out my aversion to racist extends to our favorite Besaidora.
Oh God, Zoe, did you pull?
I skipped. I did the free pull. I didn't get anything. I got some power stones. That was good. I got like 3 golds. But I don't really see myself using Setzer a ton, and I'm pretty confident I'm not going to need him in Luf Plus. So yeah, I skipped.
Hoarding is a disease. It's disgusting.
I have below 400k today. Actually, no, I have 417.
You have 4. Oh my God, I'm the richest. Hold on, I'm stopping the show. Wait a second, Bl'Art. I saw your video today. I think we have a new top dog. Everybody.
Yeah, I told you. I pitied
Yeah.
Who was it? I pitied Leon or Jack. Yeah, and then looks like you're ahead of us, assuming Bl'Art's didn't go super well. I haven't seen Bl'Art's video yet, but based on what he's been saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. My gems took a hit. I'm not gonna. I mean, I knew they were gonna, but it wasn't. In hindsight, I wouldn't have done it had I known what was gonna happen.
Hindsight's 2020. Hindsight's 2020, but foresight is 020. Am I right?
In my defense, the last 2 times I did this, it paid off spectacularly. So I had like good precedent to believe it was going to work out better than it did.
Well, it's all fine. It all worked out because in the end, everybody got what they needed or skipped what they wanted, and I am now the richest co-host. And you guys are both poverty. So
you're really just turning into the rich elitist this stream. You're going full into that character.
I'm the antagonist of the show. Bl'Art and Zoe are the co-MCs, and they're trying to bring me down, but they can't because they're poor.
Deuteragonist, if you want to learn a new word.
Yep, and what's the word? Like a duo?
Deuteragonist? It's a deuteragonist. Like Sarah and Noel, I think, are deuteragonists of 13-2. It's just like a word for two protagonists, basically.
Yeah.
Space Butts.
I had a deuteragonist in college, but that's a story for another time.
Most people think Raw is the lovable everyman, and he is, but he's also definitely a villain.
Well, I'm a rich villain, and you guys are poor heroes, so I'm going to drink to that. I do need some help real quick before we move on to our next topic, because I just accidentally bought 99 Setzer artifacts. Was it 108 330 or is it 108? Does he have a C? Does he have like a all-in boost? Is that it?
I think 108 and then either 330 or all-in boost will probably do it. All-in's probably the better of the two, but 330 will get you there if you don't want to farm too hard.
No, I never farm too hard. He kind of doesn't give a shit about attack. Oh, that's true. 1020 mighty arts. Yes. Okay, we need that health. We need him to hit high health like Balam or Forum, right?
You need the 108s for when they inevitably have like a boss who's immune to rainbow numbers.
It'd probably be a global first rainbow number one because we got core. And you know they like to switch up the JP timeline. We did get another BT banner, a triple BT banner. Bl'Art, I'm sorry for your loss, but Van got a rework. Before we go into the banner, does anyone want to talk about what Van got? The hero of Final Fantasy 12, apparently. I played it and I don't really remember him at all, but apparently he's the Prozag.
I'll talk about Van a little bit. It's kind of simple what he got compared to his previous kit. He does literally too much damage. He's so overtuned for content right now, and if you got Vaughn, you're gonna absolutely snooze through this last month if you run him a lot because he does a lot. All of both his skills got reworked. You get the plus versions faster for them, and they do a lot more dumps, and he has refunds in between all of his HP hits. So if you battery him for the first hit, he just keeps consistent damage even if he's hitting ones and stuff. So you don't really have to think super hard. I feel like he's even more brain dead than Tifa, to be honest, because Tifa at least has some pacing things and instant turns and stuff, where Vaughn is just press skill, do damage, and it works. So
yeah,
that's about
huge.
it.
It's huge
his
damage.
LD board got his mist buff, which means that he gets the free actions on his skills while it's active, and he also got some buffs in attack and HP damage dealt to that. And it also got Vaughn also got his EX buff added to all of his skills, to his LD at the beginning, and then when they turn into his plus versions, his skills now add his EX buff. So you can literally just never press his EX and nothing happens, which is kind of sad to see because it's really a cool animation and I really like it. It's like a spirit bomb type thing.
Yeah, but it does nothing. It's awful.
Yeah, I chased that EX when it came out, so I'm really sad now.
The button itself is really bad compared to the rest of his kit, so you kind of just want to ignore it, as sad as the blinking button makes you go ooh, button push, but you just don't want to do it.
Yeah, I love playing him right now because I had him already from his old days. I had LD and BT, and so I just got a free broken character, which is great. But it sucks because the whole fight, his EX is flashing, and there's always something else you can press. You don't need to refresh any buffs or anything with it. So the whole fight, his EX is just going off, and you're like, oh, I want to press that, but I can't.
She just unequipped his skill, so she never has to see it. I might do that. That's pretty smart.
It is kind of thematic because his burst effect sucks, and so it's more of this technically you need the weapon, but you're not but only for part of what it brings.
Yeah, you have to realize it. I think realizing it gives you that
increases and the increased the buff for the Flight of Freedom, so you do need it still, but ugh.
Right, and also you do got to mention. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but for longevity, he has a lot of free skills, right? His LDs give him free skills as well.
Heck yeah.
But maybe if you have a huge long Transcendence Crucible fight that's going to go 140 turns, sometimes you might want to be able to hit that EX button just for a little dump. I mean, it sucks, but, you know, he's probably not going to run out of skills anytime soon, but it's possible, you know, but you don't like pressing that button.
Yeah. Well, it's another button you can press. Try not to. It's a temptation, but overall, Vaughn is Tifa levels of OP. Did we mention that he imperils all of his elements now?
Oh,
yeah.
I don't think we did. He has the aura imperil whenever he attacks, so it's not for the party, it's just for him, but that's just really nice because he has all those elements like mixed into his kit. I think skill 1 is cold, and then like White Whirl is like wind and holy at various points or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah,
But he has a bunch of them.
It used to be an issue because since he had so many elements and had no imperil, he would get locked out because like one of his skills the boss would absorb it and it would just be awkward. So now he can't be locked out, and it's ridiculous because he already has like insane refunds on his stuff. So if he's battery, he didn't even need brave hits to actually deal damage. So he feels it's appropriate because as I understand it, basically his job in Final Fantasy 12 story is he doesn't matter for the story, but he does like show up and kill gods and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's part of the team that does things, but like that's for another time. But yeah, he's around for sure. You use him. I do want to shout out Leafblade for absolutely roasting Zoe's whole life. The element of cold. She did call ice element cold element, which isn't wrong.
It cold game? I thought it was.
I mean, it's not wrong. Ice is cold, but yeah, I don't think it's the element of cold. It's ice
I
element.
sworn it was like cold and peril and stuff. Weird. Okay, never mind. Moving past that.
So that's all the banners. That's everything we got.
Well, actually, Roy, you almost forgot. Van's on a triple BT banner. That's 3 different BT characters, all of whom have some interesting stuff.
Yeah, I got 2 more characters, dude.
I told you guys, Raw is a villain.
He's
trying to steal the spotlight from these other villains.
The old man, and actually, is Arden old? I have no idea.
Yeah, he's like thousands of years old. Spoiler alert. But yeah, you guys want to know why I really was trying to skip the whole rest of the conversation is because I got Vaughn. We talked about Vaughn. I skipped Arden and Kefka, so I don't care.
Nice try.
Anyway, Bl'Art, you want to talk about Arden or Kefka?
Yeah. Luckily, neither of them got a tremendous amount, so it'll be quick. For Arden, all they really did was they buffed the effectiveness of his LD, so it hits harder, which they always do. Big shocker for the LD board. And they made the LD buff have some more stuff. It has HP damage, brave damage, overflow. It's better. It's a better, his damage is now kind of modern again. Skills, no skill reworks or anything like that. He does have a free skill after he uses his LD, and I think he gets they extended his buffs are all like a turn longer, so he just lasts a bit longer, hits a bit harder, is still Arden. There's no real functional difference to how he plays though beyond that. That said, Yoshi Pasta is now functionally unstoppable. His Arden Saga is completely off the chain because his boy has been buffed, so that's pretty exciting.
Shout out Hobo Jesus. Shout
out to Hobo Jesus.
Hobo Jesus, baby. Yoshi Pasta. Check Yoshi Pasta out on YouTube as well. Great content creator.
And some girl, I see you in chat there. Yeah, modern might be stretching it. Basically, when I say modern, I mean he now has the personal brave and HP damage up that a lot of damage dealers have. The kid is still, almost a year old. It's still what it is, but at least the numbers are kind of a bit higher than they were. And at the end of the day, an unelemental damage dealer with a follow-up and free turns on break is always going to be usable if you build around them, to a degree anyway. Kefka, weirdly enough, Kefka got about as much as Arden did, but I feel like because of what he already brings, it is going to have more of an impact. He also gets a harder hitting LD with free skill use after using it. And the LD now applies and frames his skill 2 debuffs, the speed, attack, and defense downs, which is kind of a double-edged sword. It means he has a shorter time setting up because it used to be you'd have to go like, Light of Judgment, Shrine, LD in order to like fully apply and frame his debuffs. Now he just goes Shrine, LD, boom, it's framed, it's good. It can be awkward because sometimes you want to only frame the Shrine, and now you cannot. If you're doing it, you're definitely getting those other ones. But we have 8 debuffs now. We'll live. The interesting stuff is that it gave him a new frame buff when he uses his LD called, I want to say it's called Dancing Mad. It's more stats, but
It is Dancing Mad. Yep.
the interesting part about it, thank you, Zoe, is that I mean, brave damage, the usual stuff like that. He also gets HP damage based on the number of debuffs, just like his burst effect, capping at 40%, along with 40% brave overflow, which means there's a good chance that, provided you're running a decently built team, his AoE basic skills are going to be hitting for functionally full AoE damage when he uses them, which means his damage is actually not shit, which is great because he's always brought incredible debuffs. But now his damage is actually like worth using as well, and that means like he's no longer dragging you down by bringing those debuffs and taking all these turns. So I think that's pretty exciting. Kefka was also my first burst weapon, so I'm a little biased.
The truth comes out. Am I really the villain? We all care about the things we care about. He's a great call, some girl says. Is that true, Blart?
It is. His base call, they both got level 80, they got their LD boards with the calls. Kefka's base call is his skill, I would say, Light of Judgment. It's the one, the stat downs, the same attack, defense, and speeds, which are all potent, and stack with his framed EX debuff, which will also be applied because he has debuff start. So that's a lot of attack, defense, and speed down from one button, and it lasts a decent while. And then, of course, the LD does the same thing, basically, but with frames. So that's a lot of stat down that you can double dip on, because I know right now, you know, people are talking about Faris. They talk about Tidus is a pretty good call now because he has that debuff start. Kefka's debuffs have always been top shelf. Eamon's asking what his call does. The short version is it applies the non-shrine debuffs, the stat downs, and they're all very potent. So attack, defense, and speed down. I don't know the exact numbers, but they're good, and they stack with his EX one. So it's good stuff. Oh, Yoshi Pasta, I didn't know that. Apparently the LD doesn't frame his debuffs from the call. So that's just something to keep in mind then. My mistake, didn't realize that. Thanks for the clarification.
Shout out Yoshi Pasta. Well, that was the last banner we got. Zoe, do you have anything to say about the banner? Triple BT?
Not a ton, to be honest. I think that Kefka's update was fine. I'm a little disappointed in Arden's, just from what I've seen of him. He's like nothing super spectacular still, although it is at least something of an update to keep him sort of relevant. But I don't really like Kefka's kit in this game. It feels weird to me. Like, I felt like Kefka should have been some sort of nuke, and his C90 in the future will kind of fix this a little bit, but just him being this debuffer who's super fast at the same time, I've just like never had the desire to bring him into party, and I always chose like Arciella or Eldnarsh if I ever wanted a lockdown character, so I just don't like using Kefka a ton, even though I feel like normally he'd be like kind of in my wheelhouse of characters, so it's weird I didn't end up liking him.
Yeah, he's a jester. He's a funny... Uh-oh, my stream went away. There it goes. He's a funny jester. He wears a hat, uses a trumpet or something like that. Pull him if you like. But
he's scary in the game.
Yeah, I've never played that, but I've seen the spoilers alert. But I know he gets kind of scary.
That's some crazy stuff. I enjoy him personally. He's a little bit weird because he takes up so many slots, and I think the debuffs do kind of fit thematically with how he plays in Final Fantasy VI from my recollection of it, but it's you know, villain kits are always kind of weird because there's the question of like, man, are we ever going to get a villain support, because it's like villains tend to be very selfish,
offensive, yeah.
So the design space is a little weird because the defining characteristic of all villains is they are in some way evil, and that affects a lot of how they play out. They can't all be like just. They can't all be Golbez and just be really cool nukes.
Garland.
Oh, Garland.
Man, Garland. I just killed Chaos. I just played Final Fantasy 1 and killed Chaos. Garland is my new favorite villain. And as a villain myself, I do have to mention good and evil. I mean, it isn't a rose by any other name. Still just as sweet. Right? Anybody?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
All right, that's the those are the banners we got. Setzer finally came. We got triple LD, and we did get 2 events we can talk about. I'm gonna run a chaos hunt real quick while we talk about Boss Rush. Boss Rush came after our last show, I believe. So let's talk about Boss
Yeah, it
Rush.
came out like the night that we streamed, I think.
Oh, it did. I think it came out like Monday night. Zoe, how was your Boss Rush? Who'd you bring? If you want to go through the fights, I can pull them up. Do you need me to pull up the fights so you can remember?
I think I got them off memory. I think it's fine.
And Blart,
So
I'll jump to you next.
wave 1 was the 8 Lost Chapter Cerberus lion-looking dudes. They had an instant turn rate orb for Tidus selling, and they got Tidus or Terrid by most people, so or Core helped a little bit there too. So I don't think
Always.
many people had trouble with that wave. Then you've got the centipede-looking things that are, I think they were the new enemy of the boss rush, or like the featured enemy in the co-op and stuff. They had a reduced brave damage, or like absorb brave damage orb that was selling Leon some. Then you had the Trey dudes. I'm just calling all these guys dudes. This is the worst descriptive language ever.
The dudes,
the
these
Trey
dudes, and then those
bat-looking
dudes.
things.
I'm pretty sure whenever I describe it,
I think is their name.
I just call them all jerks.
Yeah, these jerks. The centipede-looking jerks.
Trey evil gazes. They had a triple target wave that was also good for Leon, but also other characters. And they were pretty HP attack heavy, and they could be pretty scary if you didn't bring the right mitigation. Like, I know a lot of people brought Gladio because he kept getting delayed and covering, and then you also had like some Porum runs and stuff like that. And then the last wave, which was like the scary wave to people because no Setzer, impossible boss rush without him. And that was the Were Tigers from the first wave of the Kiaran Lost Chapter. And those guys were not quite scary as enemies, I would say, but as an orb, they were pretty difficult. There were a few ways around it, though. But basically, that orb is you had to deal over 10k brave damage in a hit, which means either drop their defense a ton, ignore their defense, do gravity-based damage like Porum or Aerith, or use rainbow numbers like Core. So there were a few ways around it. I think Porum plus delay probably was the most consistent, like, super brainless way to do it. 7 also had a AoE follow-up that would keep the orb ticking on all of her turns, so she was a really good choice for all the people who are still using 7 in August of 2021. It's me and like 5 other people.
Like, yeah, all 7 of you.
Hey,
us,
7.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
I do gotta cut in and say, I interrupted and I don't even remember what I was gonna say now, Zoe.
Okay.
I'm so
you
sorry.
villain.
I'm
so
a villain.
close. I would have been fine.
I'm so sorry.
But I wanted to two-turn this boss rush because I'd only done like no synergy, no BT type stuff before. I'd never tried two-turning a boss rush, so I use synergies and BTs, but 2 teams. So it was a little bit of a different way to approach boss rush for me because I usually go on like the lower resource type of challenge runs. So this one was fun. I used Leon, Bartz, and Core in my first team for a super heavy off-turn damage focus because you could pair Core with somebody and you would keep breaking them out of order, and then Leon was doing a ton of trap damage with Bartz's BT effect up, which lasted a super long time. So that team got to 50% of wave 3 in my run, so they like super crushed it. And then I finished off with Jack, Queen, and Shantoto, I think. I used Jack to just like kind of turn manipulate my way through the rest of the Trey evil gazes, and then for wave 4 I did a ton of defense down with Shantoto, Jack some good calls, and Queen's auras, and Shantoto super consistently was able to do it, and then Jack and Queen fell off a little bit at the end I think, but Jack was also able to hit the orb, so pretty smooth run on my end. Was really happy to finally get a use for Shantoto BT and stuff in a I guess she was synergy because her boss rush, so never mind. I was going to say non-synergy, but she was still synergy. But overall, super fun. Got to use some favorites, and I also got to see how broken Core was. This was my first time using him, I think, since he came out. So, good stuff. How about you, Blart?
So when Boss Rush first came out, I was still kind of in La La Land recovering from my surgery. So I think the first my first go through was like a Titus core something or other, and then it was like a Gladio. It was very kind of, I forget, Gladio and some other doofuses in what Team 2, and then Team 3 was Saban. And Team 3 was actually the same team I used for the run I ended up posting on the YouTube channel. But when I went back and tried to kind of once my head was kind of in like, oh, I can play this game again, ended up using Terra, Garland, and Kurasame for the first wave, figuring, Terra's basically just Magic Titus, right? For the second wave, I actually had a bit of inspiration. By inspiration, I mean I stole one of Scumworld's teams again, because, little known fact, that's where all of my greatest successes come from. And basically, she pointed out how good Rosa is with off-turn damage, so I used Warrior of Light, Rosa, and Trey. And Trey just, did ridiculous stuff alongside 2 strong battery characters and the refund from Rosa's LD, which is neat and fun. Team 3 ended up bringing Strago, Sabin, and Queen. And Strago was funny because he actually wasn't proccing the orb. I didn't actually have enough damage for his Quasars to cap, even with the ignore defense, which was a little embarrassing, but he was still dealing good damage. So basically, Sabin just kind of put us all on his very muscly back and carried us to victory, and it was great, and I was just pumping my fist the whole time.
A true king. A tiger king, so to speak.
Pretty much. Ink was right, is what I'm going to say.
I'm using him right now.
Been really good for me. I've super enjoyed using him. I've used him in a lot of TCC challenges.
He's really fun. The delays and the perils and just everything he does is real fun. He climbs up on a mountain at one point and just goes ham. Big Saban fan now. I unfortunately ran into a bug when I was doing my boss rush. It was a bug. If I say it's a bug, it's a bug. And
oh God.
And I couldn't hit that orb on the last wave. It just
oh no.
There's nothing you can do to make 10K. It's impossible. I'm just kidding. I streamed boss rush. Zoe dropped in for a little while. It was fun. We took the first team, super OP team of Titus, Core, and Queen. Took them through the first 2 waves. Had to figure out where to summon and where to burst with that team. But then Gladio, Bartz, and 9. We got to bring 9 and Bartz. I love my Bartz. They were team 2, and then Garland, Porum, and Sarah for team 3. Where's Daniel? Shout out Daniel. My computer crashed 3 hours into my boss rush stream, but we got it done, and I beat the boss rush even though my game was bugged. So I'd like to think that mine's just a little bit better than everyone else's clear.
It's really impressive you managed to avoid that 1 damage bug so much for your run.
Yeah.
Honestly, your skill and finesse inspires all of us.
Yeah, there's a common story I like to relate to my DFFOO skill and career, and it's that Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Did you guys know that? He got cut from his high school basketball team, but he didn't quit. He didn't give up, and he became the best DFFOO player ever. And that was me. I never got cut, but I just never gave up, and now I'm the best DFFOO player in the world. But I couldn't do it without Zoe and Bl'Art. But we made it. I liked Boss Rush. I think Boss Rush is fun. It's like a different kind of event from everything else we do. Makes you think a little bit. Even if you use synergy, you still, like, I was using a super OP team, Titus, Core, and Queen. And they could obviously destroy the first wave and most of the second wave, but kind of working things around to make them clear both the first waves, or both the first 2 waves. That's fun. It's interesting and fun little events that we get. Zoe, do you enjoy boss rushes?
Yeah, I like any kind of content that force you to engage with more of your rosters. So stuff like the Equinox, Lufenias, and Boss Rush, where you have to bring multiple teams, sometimes even 3 teams, is super fun to me. So always a fan. Recording Boss Rush is a little bit annoying because of how long it is, but that's like my only gripe with it, and that's like a super content creator specific gripe, which I don't think really applies to the actual game experience. So I think Boss Rush is super good.
No, it counts. It applies. I know what you're talking about. Blart, you told us how your boss rush went, but do you enjoy boss rush? Do you love them?
I enjoyed it a whole lot more before I became a content creator, because recording boss rush feels a lot different than actually like just playing it casually, I guess is how I put it. Because that first run I did, the Tita Stomp, whatever, that was fun. I enjoyed that. That was great. When I went back to record it, it just felt like a whole different animal, because it just takes a long time.
Yeah.
I guess so. Really, but I do enjoy like the way it changes the way the game is played. It makes off-turn damage more usable. It makes you kind of go all out, balls to the walls to kill the guys, which is all fun and game. The super synergy, overcoming the super synergy bias if you're not using a synergy team, is a fun puzzle to solve. And I do like how it makes you engage with the roster. It's so long. I think if it was
it's super long.
If it was still three waves, I'd probably enjoy it more. But I mean, that's just me, because I'm a lazy fellow. This is the same reason I never run extreme challenges. Is I could beat the thing without using a friend unit, but I'm lazy. I want the fight to end.
Yep. I want to touch grass.
Did the boss rushes used to be 3 waves? Interesting. I don't think I was around.
I feel like the very first one was 3 waves. I could be misremembering.
I won't speak on that because I have no idea. I don't remember at all. But I love boss rushes. They're fun. If you're not creating content or not trying to fit 4 waves of Lufanias into one video, it's great. It is kind of a pain in the ass to record videos for these, though. But yeah, that was boss rush. Hopefully you got Leon. He made some of those super simple if you're using synergy. But
yeah, Leon like really murdered waves 2 and 3 if you brought him.
And that was not the only event we got. We got the second half of the Equinox instead of the daytime Equinox. Lelouch. How do you spell the main character from? How do you say the main character from?
Lelouch.
Lelouch Gamer with the follow. Appreciate it, Lelouch. Thank you. We got Umbral Equinox. I think I'm going to run one of them right now. I'm pretty sure that the first one's the easiest. Ooh, the bugs. Yeah, I'm running the first one. We got an Umbral Equinox. 3 more Lufanias for us to bang our heads against. Bl'Art, I'll go with you this time. How did you like the new Equinox? And who should I bring?
I enjoyed these. Yeah, no, these were good. And who should you bring? Jeez. For the bugs. Well, the bugs.
No,
the bugs was an interesting fight for me because the bugs are basically.
I'm gonna do the first one.
Oh, you're doing the first one?
The first
okay.
one. The Sephiroth imps. Ooh.
You know what I figured it out today. I figured out what I like about this event or like what the Equinox fights. They took all of like the worst fights in the game that we've experienced and like changed the orb to something that wasn't toxic and shitty, and suddenly the fight is fun. Like with the Marilus, they changed it to Sap, and it was no longer that bullshit cleanse orb, and the fight was fun. And that with these imps, it's no longer an incredibly tight damage race that forces you to use like one of 3 characters. And now the fight is fun because it's just you let them act, and okay, that's easy. Just don't zero boss turn them and engage with them. Survive their bombs and stuff, but it's like you don't hate it. This is the first time I fought those imps and haven't been pulling my hair out the whole time. Okay, C7 does make a good point. The Argent Break Orb is that one's actually pretty rough. We'll get to that one. That one's definitely the hardest of the 3 fights.
For sure.
Oh, great. Yeah, we'll save that one for we'll save that one for not on stream. We'll do the easy ones on stream.
I will say that Palm's probably really good for those guys.
The final guys?
I think so.
These imps these imps cleanse a lot, right? Let's talk about the imps. What do they do this time?
They basically do the same thing they did. They're going to cleanse at 80 and 50%. I don't think they don't cleanse at 29. Basically, the way they work is one is the attacker, one's the supporter, and every 10 player actions, I want to say, or something, I wasn't counting, they switch roles, and so whoever's the attacker is going to be attacking you, obviously, and whoever's the supporter is going to be buffing the attacker with shields or attack buffs, defense buffs.
Shields? I hate the shields.
Yeah, the shields are annoying, but it's not as bad as it was before because you don't need to kill them within a certain time frame. The orb is just you let them act, and so long as you're not running a zero boss turn team or a team with like Sabin and Cypher on it, you should be fine. Really, the
we're
only thing to
doing
worry about is
Aerith 9 and Squall, so we'll see how that works.
okay, that should work. Really the only thing you have to worry about is their Calamity Bomber all attack, and you have 9, so you just if you see them queuing up an all attack, you know what to do. And I'm pretty sure they don't have a Brave Gain associated with it, so his shield will probably eat it anyway.
I don't think they Brave Gain. Well, I was running Leon. Spoilers. I was running Leon for this one, so I didn't I didn't pay attention to. My run was like so bad, but we won anyway, so, which was good. But I don't think they do the Brave Gain. And the only thing I would worry about your team right now is turn count. Maybe they are a little bit fat, so you might not. Well, you have a Tifa friend in a burst phase, so you'll probably be fine.
I'm trying to whichever the least I can do. If I can do it without the burst phase or do it without Tifa, I will. But it doesn't matter. If it's not a TCC challenge or a TCC Extreme, I will go back and do one of those.
Yeah.
Another day. We just don't want to fail. Yeah, these guys, the first time they came around, they were just awful. I think they got the name Sephiroth Imps in that iteration. So hopefully they're not that bad.
Technically, they were. I think they first showed up on the Prompto Lost Chapter, and they were still shitty back then. Or event in Lost Chapter, but like the Sephiroth Imps, they're called that because the Sephiroth Heretic quest, where they showed up as the bosses, was incredibly toxic, mostly due to the extremely restrictive orb and the very dangerous Calamity Bomber that, while mitigatable, required. Basically, they did a lot of damage for the time because you couldn't bring a defensive enough team to deal with it because you needed to kill them through the orb.
Yeah, I've heard like so much about that fight being toxic just from like people who were playing the game before I was. It's pretty funny.
Who did you guys bring to this fight? You guys both beat all 3 fights already, right?
Indeed.
Yes, I did.
Who did you bring, Blart?
Originally, I actually took Kefka here, just because I wanted to use Kefka, and I think I used Bart Sinferian with him because whatever. But just recently, I did a run with who did I use? I used who was it? It was Furion, Rosa, and Exdeath. Actually, I figured.
Rosa.
Well, I wanted the off-turn damage, and I figured because they have shields, I want Exdeath. So let's go into the off-turn damage. We get the Furion. Okay, well, we want someone who can battery him after his counter and before his counter and stuff. Hey, Rosa. And so I've used Rosa in 2 Lufinias now, and I'm really confused. Like, I'm feeling things, and I didn't expect to feel them, and I don't know how to think about it. But yeah, Exdeath plus Furion means they have a bunch of attack down and were never any threat. Their Calamity Bombers tickled. It was really cute.
Yeah, 9 is badassly played. He should protect me here. Unless any of their attacks ignore HP damage mitigation. Every time I use the LD, he will wipe that clean. So, I guess A is being the support and B is being the attacker. You guys want to go over the other ones, or wait till I get to those? I don't think we'll have time to do all 3, but
probably won't have time to do all of them, so we can probably just run through them, I guess, and then focus on the gameplay. I want to say it's cool that people have been like finding places where Rosa can shine compared to the other supports, because she's definitely lackluster, but it's cool that people are like finding her niche and just trying to put her in teams where she can sort of be unique. Because my problems with Rosa was that she was like a super vanilla Orabot and she didn't have anything really special to make her stand out, even though her numbers were like fine in a vacuum. So I'm like having a lot of fun watching people do the off-turn runs with Rosa's battery helping the counters and stuff. So that's really cool to me.
Rosa.
Yeah, I think that the epiphany of like the refund with off-turn damage is amazing. I mean, Iroha does kind of a similar thing, but like it's she has better auras than Iroha though, so like that's you can kind of figure it out that way.
If your damage healers aren't self-sufficient enough, like with Trey, I feel like in a vacuum, Rosa probably is better with Iroha. It depends on who your third is. I think Iroha would take over with like a support inclined third party member and stuff. So it's just team building, and I love team building, so it's always cool to see what people are using.
Rosa is coming to get her respect. Put some respect on her name. She's not she hasn't proved herself like Queen. Queen was the ultimate underrated. I mean, my God, I didn't blue her, but she
Oh
has
my
just been
god, I just like
incredible. But Rose is making a run. She's making a run at that, you know, underrated. If you should have pulled me because I can do some things. There's some things I can do. Re-raise meta is a meme, but she's not just re-raise.
I think the Queen definitely is more flexible than Rosa because she actually brings a lot of personal damage, and I think her auras are slightly better. Plus, Last Stand is way better than Re-Raise. Sorry, Eamon.
she's also not conditional on party buff.
I see you in the chat, and much respect, but you know.
She's also like not conditional on her buffs and her auras, and like I said, turn counts are super easier to hit with Queen compared to pretty much any other support we have right now. So that's a really good point in her favor.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Rosa has something unique, which is that refund, which has it has use, and having auras competitive with Queen that's nothing to scoff at, nothing
No,
to
her
sneeze
auras
at.
are good. It's like I always just thought she was boring. She's like she heals, she batteries, and she has auras, but like the refund battery is like her biggest gimmick that makes her stand out as a character, which I haven't really personally played with, but you probably can do it. Yeah, she is fun on launch teams. I feel like Porum is also fun on launch teams with a little bit more utility, but both very cool options.
I do think that Rosa will probably shine a bit more for us. Once they've reworked the RF spheres, so her battery is even more insane, combined with the reductions we're going
Yeah,
to be seeing with Lufania Plus.
the encouragement
I
stuff
think
is
that's going to
definitely
look
help her.
that's going to make it look a lot more interesting. Because right now, I will say, Queen's battery kind of sucks.
Yeah.
No, it's not good. She's a brave damage focused character. She's not like a battery brave gains focused character right now until her seat 90.
Well, now I'm feeling silly because I pulled Rosa, but I skipped Porum, so my entire Lufania Plus strategy just fell apart.
Oh no!
Yeah, good luck. Good luck beating Lufania Plus. Porum is literally required. That's what we were told. I mean, she's
It's okay.
required.
I pulled Setzer. I'll use Setzer with Rosa. It'll be fine.
Oh yeah, you're all good. Setzer core. That's easy. That's free. These guys both cleanse. These guys both cleanse at 79, right?
They do indeed.
They don't
Yeah,
have any
you
debuffs.
Give them a turn, I think, for their red aura to drop because they're about to use like Calamity Bomber.
Okay, so I'm not even gonna use Seal Evil yet. I'll wait. Put it
I
on
think we
after
went on
this.
like an Aurabot tangent. I don't think I mentioned who I brought to this fight yet.
Oh,
My
yeah.
team was like kind of scuffed, so it was like a pretty poor run, but we still got it done. I brought Seven, Leon, and what's his face, Kadaj, because I didn't really know what these
Good
bosses
God.
did.
What a motley
Because-
crew.
I know.
Good God.
Literally just like
Say it again.
like
Wait. Say it again. Hold on. Kadaj. Say it one more time.
Kadaj, Seven, and Leon.
What a squad. That's like the Suicide Squad. I see them on a poster. There's a Suicide Squad
Oh,
on the top.
I should do that for a thumbnail when I upload
Yes.
the video. That'll be funny.
It's
So
really good.
I was like, I'd never, because I'm a baby and I'd never played this game when these guys were an enemy. I hadn't fought them before, so I didn't really know what they did. I knew I needed to give them turns, so I'm like, okay, this is an excuse to use Leon, so we're definitely going to do that. And I was like, okay, so what are Leon's weaknesses? If they brave gain a lot, then he's not going to actually be able to protect us a ton. So I'm like, oh, Kadaj. And so there's my brave gain killer. And then I'm like, can I fit 7 as an Aurabot maybe compared to the better ones? And it ended up working, but oh my god, but is it a pain. So it was no synergy, no BT, no friends, so it should qualify as extreme unless Leon gets banned, which I think is possible depending on his usage. Probably not enough people pulled him for him to be banned,
Yeah,
but
I doubt it.
basically, like, the team kept pushing off their generic debuffs, so Leon had his Imperil gone for, like, half of the fight, and I brought debuff calls, and Seven kept, like, screwing up her Snakebite getting cleansed, and it was a total mess, but we still finished with, like, 15 turns to spare, and no friend or BTs and stuff, so it worked, I guess, but it was a weird team. I don't think I would recommend it. Leon, like, with proper support, I think would really, really do well here. Kadaj and Seven were like not the best partners.
I heard 7 is. I have not. I hate to admit this because I loved her so much in Type 0. I have not used 7 yet. I built her. She's all ready to go. Will be good. But I have not used her yet. I heard she's much better against single targets. You had to deal with
Hey,
the
Cross.
switching the debuff. Cross 13. How you doing, man?
Yeah, generally, like, you just switch it with the LD, and you just kind of, like, maul the one with the Snakebite 3 stacks, while she's, like, she doesn't really switch super well. You can do it if they cleanse, like, her EX plus 1 skill 1 gets it to 3 stacks in 2 turns, so it's, like, it's not the worst, I guess, and she got her blue armor, so her damage has gotten pretty significantly improved in the right teams, but, yeah, she's okay.
Throw some debuffs on these guys. I don't think we're gonna have time to run all 3. I should beat this one. It'll be close if I have to use Summon, Burst, and Tifa. But the second fight was the Arciella bugs, right? The reskin of the Arciella bugs.
Indeed, it was.
Blart, you want to go over that one first?
Yeah. So they had a pretty interesting orb because the orb basically said they have to be at below. I want to say it's 15,000 brave or something like that. It's kind of similar. 5,000? Huh. Okay. So they have to be below 5,000 brave. So basically, keep them broken is kind of the name of the game there. And they the only real trip up they have along that route is that I think at the same 80 and 50% thresholds, they I think they delay themselves and gain a bunch of brave, and basically you have to shave that brave. The thing is, you'll notice that they don't have to act, and they don't frame their turns, and they don't gain an aura, and so you can just kind of no-boss turn them. You can just, delay them forever and never let them get a turn. And the only scary parts will be if, for whatever reason, your team is unable to shave that brave gain over the course of like 8 turns, which
there's like
that sounds
you
like
also
a
have
personal
your
problem at that point.
You have your summon phase where they'll, as long as they're broken, the orb ticks up again. So it's like a non-issue, to be honest.
Exactly. Like I'm really stretching saying that there's
if you're just like if you don't want to engage with the boss mechanics, then I don't think this is a very hard fight to no turn. But if you do give them turns, it probably is a little bit tricky because it's an 8 count and it never goes away. So you'll basically just have your summon to fill it back up. So that could be tricky.
That is the thing. I am speaking very flippantly about these guys as if they're not a non-issue. This is definitely one of those fights where you're going to want to no-turn them because they, I don't know if you remember the RCL Lost Chapter bugs, but those guys suck. Ignoring the orb itself is actually pretty toxic if they're allowed to act and regularly refill their brave because it, you're going to have to keep breaking them. The orb's going to keep going up. It's not a very big orb. They keep giving themselves framed buffs. They periodically wipe your own buffs, which sucks. Basically, just a nasty time. The orb isn't quite as rough as dispelling them because this means you don't.
Yeah, that was a tough fight for people when RCL is
exactly. So
came out.
That's the big difference. Much like with the Marilys, it's not making it reliant on RNG, and even more so than the Marilys, you can straight up no turn them. So yes, you can let them act, and if you do, the fight becomes a lot harder. But there's very little in play. At this point, we have a lot of ways to stop the bosses from acting. And these bosses have very little. They have no mechanics designed to stop you from doing that, which is why I say it's an easy fight, even though, yes, it's a dangerous fight if you let them act. But it's not hard to stop them.
There's zero incentive for you to let them act. So I think it's fair to call this one of the easier of like the 6 Equinox Lufenias just because of how simple a no-turn run is. Like, for my strategy, I did Jack, Sabin, and Sarah, Sarah wasn't the best support choice probably because they're the battery reductions in this one were really high compared to the other 2, but Jack and Sabin just kind of never let them do anything, so I didn't really get to see anything they did, and it was just like spam Razor Gale, and then Jack would take a couple turns, and then Sabin, if he was batteried, would do an Aura Cannon, and super smooth.
I think I'm gonna no turn it right now. The game just died.
It's the fastest one. It's like it's a 60 turn count fight, and like you can no turns. For stream, it's probably the fastest one to do.
I'm gonna Garland Cypher save in it. We don't need no.
Oh yeah, that's gonna clap.
Yeah, I don't think.
Throw some like debuff calls on, and you're golden.
But bro,
brave damage.
Why are you bringing Garland with his defense down and Cypher with his defense down if Saban ignores defense? What are you
Yeah,
doing?
I don't think you need Sabin for this one.
Bad
You
bad
can
team
do
building
something more
101.
interesting.
What's a support that delays? Ooh, I got it. Hold on. Watch this. Boom,
Ooh,
baby.
what are we gonna see? Something
Boom,
spicy?
baby. No turns. No turns.
Let's do
Oh
it.
hell yeah!
Nice.
Oh
No
hell
turns.
yeah!
No turns. Ish gang, rise
I'm
up.
feeling it.
I feel really bad for Ish because I do love her, and Blart and I have repped her well during her up until the BT Plus era, but she's coming out with Zidane, and as you know, I'm BT pitting Zidane night one, and Ish is just not gonna get. She's not gonna get any attention from this point on. So I got to give her some love. Got to give her some respect. This one's for Ish. Hopefully we get her through this one. Probably be the last time I touch her in the history of the game. That's
Not going for
Man.
that burst when Zidane comes out, shockingly.
killed by poor timing. Coming out at the same time as Zidane.
Bad timing with Zidane, the
Mhm.
raw specific
Mhm.
state of Lufenia.
Yep. Sucks for her.
Nice.
But if this one's a no turn, y'all know I love a no turn. I might even bring a cloud call just for
You don't
even.
need a cloud call. Bring more debuffs.
How about
You got plenty
Gabrant?
of delay.
I'll do Jack.
Yeah, just do Jack. Make it easy on yourself.
So that was this one. You guys both went over your teams, right?
I don't know if
Actually,
Blur
I did
did.
not.
I did.
Who did you bring?
Yeah, I actually, I don't know why, but I feel like this was a slightly Zoe inspired team because what I ended
Ooh.
up doing
Ooh.
was, so I brought Terra. It was a no BT run, but I brought Terra and paired her with Jack and Kurasame,
Lovely.
and
That
I
is
actually
that
switched.
is right up Zoe's alley.
But well, except I put my own spin on it because the reason I brought Jack and Kurasame is well, I want to run Jack. I want the Jack and the Kurasame call because I'm going to no turn them. But I don't have any room because my 3 calls are going to be Vincent, Payne, and Edward because I'm zero eye braving them.
So you just brought them in party. Perfect.
Yeah, and so I figured,
Fantastic.
all right, I'll bring them a party. And then I actually for probably like more than half the fight, Jack was swapped out for a Noctis friend, and so he just kind of pretended he was core for most of the fight.
Oh, Noctis is a good friend choice for that kind of strategy.
So that yeah, but it went well. I will say the last like the last 20% of the fight is just Jack turn jumping and spamming skills for like 50 turns in a row or something. Like I killed one boss and the others lived, and so it gained 10% health. So I think Jack just had to skill spam through 17% of its health because I didn't run out of ways to stop it. It was really silly. I'm looking forward to posting that run. It was a lot of fun.
Noctis friend outdamage core friend. That is a good question.
I probably would have ran the core friend if I could find one, but I saw a Noctis friend and it was like, well, I guess we're doing this.
Does Noctis have? I've never played with Noctis or Noctis friend. Does he have effects on his BT aura? Because if he does,
He
I
does
feel like he
not.
might. Okay, it's just the
He
follow
has
up.
he just has the follow up for 3 turns. The advantage he has over core, I think he has. I think he deals less damage than core. The advantage he has is he has his warp step, so that kept like by the time Jack came back, it was
It might be less damage, but better turn efficiency. That seems like a
yeah.
good call.
I will say because basically I think the way it ended up working out for me, like by the time Noctis tagged out, the bosses were at 40% health, and it was 15 turns in. So
yeah, that's a Noctis effect right there.
That'll work. Yeah, I think this one will be the no turn. Typically the easiest. If you have the right roster, no turn team is, for me, the most fun. I know a lot of people like to interact with the bosses, but not me. I want to just absolutely destroy them before they ever get a chance to touch me. That's my goal in every fight. So I hate orbs where you have to let them move. But we're not about to let these guys move at all. Do they cleanse at any point?
I don't think so. I just kind of
correct. They do not because Jack they didn't cleanse when Jack did his thing. They gain a bunch of brave and they delay themselves, but they don't cleanse.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is going to be a walk in the park. So there's one left. It was the godforsaken Agrius lost chapter. Argent officials. Argent efficient.
Archon sounds right. Something like that. I don't know. I just call them like the Arbiters because I played Halo before. I don't know.
I mean, they look it.
Arbiters. Zoe did the first one. Bl'Art did the second one. Zoe, what? Who did you bring? How did it go for you? I'll let you start off on the Argent Efficients.
Yeah. I guess we should talk a little bit about the fight itself first. So this one's probably the most difficult of this batch of 3, I would say. Has a Lufenia orb where you have to break it, and you get +4, +4 or +5?
+4.
+4, thought so, okay. And then you had to kind of manage them staying broken, but also you either needed rebreakers if you were doing or unbreakers and rebreakers if you were doing a no turn kind of strategy, or 1 turn basically. And then I think that if you wanted to give them turns, then it was kind of tricky because sometimes they would delay themselves that attacking, and then like if you're using counter characters, then they wouldn't be broken, and the the bots. Oh no, we're just like Russia is inflating our chat numbers right now.
That's paid for. I paid for all these bots. They should be
mentioning. Going bankrupt.
I don't know. Yeah,
slowly build our channel.
I don't know why they're not talking. I paid them to say the dude on camera is incredibly handsome and good at the game, which is true, but they're not. I'm gonna try to get my money back because.
Get your money back, dude.
Yeah, they haven't said that once. Don't let Mino break your train of thought. Tell us about the damn Argent Efficients.
Basically, the important mechanic for the fight, other than managing the orb, is that they do a lot of HP attacks with Brave Games, which are somewhat deadly. They're not super deadly if you have any form of mitigation, or like only a little bit and you'll be fine, but I think that they cleanse at when one of them reaches 50%. I have kind of a mixed results for if one or both of them cleanses, depending on enemy health. So I don't really know, but they only cleanse once, and they kind of fly up in the air, and then you're not able to delay them while they're floating, and they can only be break delayed. So they don't frame their turns, which protects from break delays and deletes and stuff sometimes, but you can't regular delay them, which is something to keep in mind if you're running Garland or Cypher or whoever else in Fight 3. And a lot of people brought Diabolos Summon for because you only need 1 Dispel, and that's a super easy way to get rid of those buffs fast. And you could also bring a base Ferris Call, which also has good debuffs and the Dispel on it. So there's a couple options there. You didn't really need a Dispeller in your main party for this one, so I think that's good because the spells and cleansing were so important mechanics in most of the first 3 fights that it's good that they're kind of taking a break from it here in these last 3, because I feel like it could have gotten kind of samey. But yeah, I brought Null, Lightning, and who was my last character? I'm totally blank. Oh, Queen. Duh. I love Queen.
Always
so of course
Queen.
I brought her.
Always Queen. Isn't your Queen blue?
Oh yeah, my Queen is blue.
Oh,
she is
fantastic.
putting in the work. But it was my first time using Null in a Lufenia, and I was like, okay, this is if I'm ever going to use him before his CC+, this is going to be the time. It's a break orb, and I actually need more than Lightning to do it. So I'm like, okay, Null, you're coming off the bench. It's time. And he was good. He's okay. I don't think he's super amazing, but it was fun to use him. And Lightning, still doing Lightning things. Her EX, I feel like the battery reductions in Fight 3 were pretty low because her EX was filling to 30,000 in between her hits. It was weird, abnormally high. And then Queen did auras and damage, so pretty simple run. I gave them a couple turns to let themselves dispel the high reductions they do at 50%, and to let my Kurosame debuff stack. But that was about it. Bl'Art, how'd you do?
Yeah, I
Wait. What's their orb? Hold on. Sorry to interrupt, Bl'Art. What is this orb? I thought that you HP falls cannot cancel count target raise less than. I have to raise the orb.
No. The Brave just needs to stay under 5,000
After my turn?
after any turn, but
Oh.
it stays the same there. So basically, you want to keep them. You want them to have as few turns where they're over 5,000 Brave as possible. Which, if you're delaying them the whole fight, they're only going to go over 5,000 Brave at 80 and 50.
You can pop your second Kurasame call too. They're never gonna get a turn, so you might as well start getting that increased HP damage up here early.
I still don't understand the orb. My game's bugged. What is the orb?
Well, there are bugs. You're fighting 2 bugs. Raw.
They're mantises. So
It doesn't
they are
make
bugs.
count target Brave less than 5,000 after turn. After his turn?
Any turn.
So yeah.
Like,
I'm not
any
giving him
turn.
turns.
why you're not Raw? Why you're not seeing it move is because it ticks after your player turn, but it also ticks down because of the player action -1. So basically, it's a net 0 gain unless you're in summon, and then it will be like going up. Put your Kurasame and your Jack on soon.
Yeah, well, in a second. Blart, I'm so sorry. My game is always bugging and not working right, so I had to interrupt you. You're talking about the Argent Efficients, also known as the Agrias.
It's okay. Bugs are serious business, and I needed a moment to actually remember the team I used anyway, so it's all good.
Perfect, works out.
Yeah, I ended up bringing the team of Warrior of Light, Strago, and Ash, figuring Strago had the rebreaks, and Warrior of Light would keep them from killing us. I probably could have just zero-turned them, but I was like, oh, well, if I let them get turns, that'll be more creative, right? Because apparently interacting with the bosses is like a form of creative expression or something. I don't know.
Something like that.
But yeah, it ended up being it was a little touch and go because letting them take turns, they letting them take turns, that orb can get pretty darn low. And yes, to answer C-Sum's question in chat, Strago does only break on the LD, and it only ticks up the orb as if it broke once, even though it breaks twice, which is bullshit. This is justice for Strago. It should have hit the orb twice. But it was okay, because basically, once we got to the halfway point, I tagged Warrior of Light out for a Cloud of Darkness, and basically zero-turned them from that point on, because the orb goes away at 50 and stays away until they do their next all attack, which they queue up. And so I kind of zero-turned them from that point on. They had like a damage reduction, but I was using Strago and Ash, so I didn't care. And it was great.
I have
Yeah, that's it.
I have a lot of bad memories with these guys. They were the Lord Touch Me is now following. Thank you, Lord Touch Me. Shout out, Lord Touch Me. These guys were Agrias' Lost Chapter boss, I think, and they were a real pain. They were a real pain at the time, and so I'm a little worried about that fight. Was the Argent Efficients harder, or were the, I guess, the first fight? Because this fight's the easiest with the bugs, right?
Yeah. If you're no turning, this is the easiest one. I think the fight 3 was with the Ardent Efficients was probably the hardest. And then
Definitely.
And then the Mantises. So yeah.
Yeah, the Mantises required probably the least thought. Technically, it could be the hardest fight if you let them act, but
if you wanted it
I mean,
to be, it could be the hardest. There you go.
but that's kind of like it. Again, it's like saying like Yvonne is the weakest character in the game because I refuse to run him with his EXC, CP15 or C35 weapons. So like his damage is shit. Like that's what it is. It's self-imposed challenge is not the same as saying it's hard. It's there's a line there. So and in the Mantis' case, like yes, you can let them take turns, but at this point we have so many options that you don't even need to use the top of the line delayers to get it done. Case in point, the team I used didn't have any like built-in delay. It was ridiculous.
I am a coward, so I don't want to speak for Bl'Art, but I definitely am one, so that's why I don't have a webcam.
Zoe, you're falling for his trickeration. Mino doesn't have a webcam. We all know.
You've seen his face though, so he's out there.
He did a face reveal, but he doesn't have a webcam, so he's it's trickeration. It's standard Mino level. Oh God, I never used.
Here's the thing.
I don't have.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you. I was gonna tell you again. I don't think you heard me the first time, but put Jack on.
It's not that I'm a coward. Here's the thing. This way,
Fuck.
you can never be sure that the three of us aren't just one person with really good voice changing.
Yeah, and we never talk.
You've never seen the three of us in the same room at the same time.
Right. And we never talk over each other, so it could just be that I have a little amp thing down here, and I'm working it like a what's the guys who do the what's that called? Where they have a puppet on their lap? Mannequin?
Ventriloquist?
Ventriloquism.
I said mannequin. You guys, I never put on the Jack call, but I mean everybody was capping already, right? Was that? I mean, fuck. Yeah, that's why they don't have webcams, because they're actually me. They're my 3 different internet forms.
I like to think of us as we're kind of, it's kind of like the, what is it, the maiden, the mother, and the crone, that that trinity,
right?
Sort of like that. And since Raw's the only one who actually has kids, I think that makes him the crone, but I'm not sure.
I don't know what a crone is, but I think as long as it's the bad guy of the story. I decided during this stream I'm going to accept the role of the villain because it's fun and I'm rich and you guys are poor, so I think that it's okay for me to be the villain and I've earned it, right? If I was a
we're
villain,
all in like the let's calm down here. We're all in like the same gem tax bracket.
Oh,
we're like
we're close
50,000
enough.
below you.
Close enough, she says. When she was ahead, we weren't in the same tax bracket. Now Zoe's below, looking up from the poverty line and talking to me about we're in the same bracket. Okay, well,
I'm going.
Is it too late for us to? Is it too late for us to eat the rich? Can we do that?
you can't eat.
Yeah,
the
let's
rich.
do it while Raw is in front. We can eat the rich.
It
I'm
won't be
going
long.
broke though in like the next 2 months. I'm gonna like
Yeah.
completely run out of funds probably.
Oh.
So I'm gonna actually be poor soon.
I'm day one gymming a BT all the way to pity if I have to, in a cycle where I'm pulling on every banner. Just because I have to. I cannot go to bed the moment Zidane BT releases. I'm not gonna make turn count unless I like burst or something because I've been fucking
Just
this up.
burp. Yeah, you
But,
gotta burst and stuff. Why'd you bring a Garland friend? That was a weird choice. Also, use him if you want
I
to
can
save
do that.
turns. Use Medica with Yushitola.
It's a battery. What was I talking about?
Battery and no turns taken.
What was I talking about? Because I'm so confused. It was something important. About me being a villain?
You were a villain, yes, because you're rich. But I thought we
Okay.
covered that.
We were talking about something else. If I was a
I think we were
villain...
just talking about how much the Argent efficient sucked for a while, and then it
Yeah.
kind
Oh, and then we
of
talked
spiraled
about
out of control
Zidane.
from there.
Zidane. Basically, the night that Zidane comes out, I have to have his BT. I have the gems available to me, so whatever it costs, it costs. However, it's going to run directly against the general policy of not pitying or tokening a BT when you're still pulling on the rest of the banners, because all the banners Zidane BT is on, I'm pulling. So I could possibly become poorer than both of y'all, as well as get some dupe BTs after I pitied the first one. So
Yeah, well, I mean, I might be in a rough spot going into that because I was planning on skipping most of the excess cycle and just tokening his burst after, but like different people keep talking me into trying to pull for different characters during that cycle, and I don't know how this keeps happening to me. You know who you are, by the way.
are they in the chat?
Yeah, 2 of them are,
Sons of bitches.
but it's you know, you
I don't know,
riffraff.
Dawn cycle is pretty hype. There's some cool characters in there.
Apparently, Kieran's burst just dropped on Twitter, which is
Oh,
pretty
really?
exciting. I remember I pulled his LD back when it dropped, partly because I thought he was pretty cool and worth like delving into, and partly because I said to myself, well, you know, protagonist, you know, might be a burst candidate, and now it's coming so late that I don't care anymore. Even though I'm just new burst throw is exciting, I should say that, but like for a while I was like, okay, Kieran, surprise burst, and nothing.
What, I mean, once again, as the villain, I have to speak up. Who cares? What game is that? Like, what game What game is he from? You gotta have like a Wii U. You have to play it on like a dance pad.
That's Lael.
What is Sierran from?
The motion controls.
What is Sierran from? Same Kieran. What is he from?
He's like the Avatar character for the first Crystal Chronicles.
He's
like
from the game with the cups, man. They got the cups, the chalices. They drink out of them, I think, or something. I don't know.
You guys are just out here salivating over any old BT now, aren't you? We've reached a point.
I don't personally care about this one, but it's cool for the fans.
What fans?
I just like being able to control the soundtrack, man.
What fans? If you're in chat and Kieran is from your favorite Final Fantasy, tell me, so I can ban you. I'm just kidding.
And yes, Rod does know that it's pronounced. He does know it's pronounced Kieran.
Did I say Sierran twice?
Like 8 times.
Okay, Kieran. It's clearly Kieran. Kieran.
Or, as some would say, Karen.
Ooh, that's why I don't care about him, honestly. Oh, Haunted Finny, I apologize. I was just joking. I won't ban you. Crystal Chronicles, I'm sure, is a great game. I mean, no one knows because no one played it, but I'm sure it's fine. It's fine. It's Sierran, not Kieran. Oh, I was saying it right. Well, we've got drama in the chat, folks.
Okay.
Hold the phone. Hold the phone. I was apologizing for no reason. I've just been told it's Sierran, not Kieran.
Fenny, can you clarify? Is that like a K sound or an S sound?
Spell it out, like with like blocks.
Just as a name, I can't. How do we always get into these pronunciation discussions? Oh my god. It's Kiaran as a name. It's a hard K sound.
I mean, we do know that Raw will be contrary here because he's been saying Titus this entire event, but Kieran.
I've just been saying it the way that it's supposed to be said. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry for standing up for the truth. I guess moving forward, I will bend to the will of fools and court jesters.
This is why JP forecast is a mistake, by the way.
Because we can have Kieran fight 9 months early before he even drops. Well, his LT board 2 comes soon, so it was coming anyway.
I've tried to.
The next 8 months are going to be rough because every stream is just going to be us like arguing over how to pronounce the damn guy's name, and none of us are even going to pull the damn character. Like we don't care.
Well, I'm pulling X-Death, so maybe I'll get him.
Well, everybody knows how to pronounce X-Death. It's S-Death. Wait, right? S-Death?
It's the big tree.
Yeah,
Woodcoon.
I have a friend.
Someone called it Woodcoon. I thought that was cringe as hell, but like it's stuck in my brain and I can't get it out.
What about Kate Sith? Sure. Let's talk about that because I don't care what anybody. Let's talk about that. You guys really want to fight? I'm already upset with Blark. We've already had it out. And if you guys really want to get into it, let's talk about it. Kit Shi? Come on.
That's how you say it.
No, don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining. Okay? It's Kate Sith. It was Kate Sith.
Raw believes the entirety of the Emerald Isles does not exist.
If you guys want me to get mad, I'll get mad.
Is just a myth.
I'll get mad. Do not tell me Kate Sith is pronounced Kit Shi. You can't.
I better see a Guinness saga from you after this.
You can't just say things are pronounced away and expect me, a learned scholar, to just accept it. I'm not going to. I'm not going to accept Kit Shi. Where in that does it say Kit Shi?
I'm pretty sure in Ireland.
That's how Gaelic works, or like Gaelic roots work. Please, can we talk about like DFFOO? I'm gonna go insane if we ever talk about this stuff again.
Oh, we'll be back here. This battleground has not yet been decided.
No, it's not yet. The battle's won, but the war's not over. We'll move on. I mean, that's it for this week. Really,
he says.
That's really it for this week.
Yeah.
We talked about I'm gonna finish this fight, but we talked about all the fights here. You guys haven't really. You told us who you used, but this is a brand new type of content, really. It's global first content. We got two, I guess, iterations of it back to back. I know how I feel about it, but start with Zoe. What do you think about these? Like, 3 Lufanias dropping at a time, reskin bosses with new orbs. Is it fun? I mean, do you like this?
First thing, you might want to pop your friend Garland at some point. I'm a little worried on the count, but...
Nah, 17.
17 turns, 26...
Right.
Well, we'll see. But,
No, we'll be alright.
I really like these events. As I said before, anything that makes you use more of your roster is a good thing. Free rewards and free Lufenia armors and blue armor resources are a good thing.
Yep.
So I'm kind of hoping we get more of these in the future, because it's just like, it's nice to have fights that you don't freaking have handed to you on a script and like in your resources and stuff. So yeah, overall, really happy. A couple of the fights were a little lazy, I guess, but mostly I think it was good. And I liked the focus on strategies. Like for some of them, you had to give them turns, especially in like this era of the game where you don't often have to give the enemies turns if you don't want to. So yeah, big fan.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Blart?
Yeah. I thought this was some fantastic content. I mean, lockouts are always a lot of fun when they're handled in a way where it allows for creativity and kind of dipping into the roster, as opposed to just saying like, a lockout where it's like you have to use a Black Crystal character from Final Fantasy VI or something like that is a little bit on the nose. But if it's something where it's making you kind of scratch your head and be like, who do they want me to use here, or who can I use here? That's a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed with these fights. They reimagined some fights that honestly, I feel like they took the 6 most toxic fights we've had, more or less.
Yep.
And kind of like, how can we make these like palatable? And they did it. And so there was kind of a fun visceral sense to just being able to beat up the Mariliths or the Seth Imps or the Arciella bugs and not hate it. Like that felt good.
They picked some very very hated enemies in the DFFOO canon for these events, which is pretty funny to see.
Yeah, so I thought this was just some tremendous stuff. The orbs, like, I mean, it also it makes me think of that kind of. I've been watching Marvel's What If lately on on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And so like seeing stuff where it's like, what if the Sephiroth imps were an enemy phase, boss instead of a player phase kind of rush down, or what if the Mariliths weren't assholes, things like that. So yeah, I would love to see the Doulahan boss reimagined in this same vein.
Give us Doulahan.
Doulahan.
Right, give us Doulahan with options to fight it given to us.
Exactly. Like,
let me put my hands on
like
it.
That
I want to get my hands on that.
So yeah, I thought this was like some fantastic global first stuff. I thought this was really good. I enjoyed that they tied it to the triple BT banners. So those things, they didn't feel it made the banners feel more connected to the schedule. Like they didn't feel like this arbitrary. Oh, and I guess we're doing this now. And now it makes it kind of fires the imagination just a little bit. Thinking, like I know in JP they haven't gotten any more triple BT banners to my knowledge. Maybe it's gonna they're gonna do more of them for GL with a similar type event down the line, obviously 6 months from now, 8 months from now, who knows? But like this was definitely a very positive experience for me overall, because for the reasons we've had, and I can't wait to in 6 months say I can't believe they brought back Doulahan and it sucked just as much as last time, even though they changed the fight. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, I love this. I think it's great. I think oh my god, this one just healed. Oh my fuck! What the fuck?
Oh,
I should have warned you about that.
I think you're okay. You just need to get like a good Garland DX. Use Medica only with Y'shtola.
Okay. I'm gonna gather myself. What has happened? What has just happened?
The enrage for the bosses, if one dies, the other gains 10% of their health back. That's it. You'll live, but he won't. Kill that bug dead. Just Spam Medica. Oh, and yeah, the calls. Use your extra calls. Use the Gabrant call. Use them all. It's free turn damage.
I'm upset. I'm upset. I didn't know that was gonna happen. And my co-hosts, look, we got drama. All right, we've got a big drama on this live stream.
Don't be throwing this on us.
No, we've got.
I was very intentional. I was trying to sabotage you.
You're upset, aren't you? We've had it out tonight, and it's our first fight, and all relationships go through a first fight.
You've got a girl in DX. I think you'll be okay.
All right.
Does he have a call?
A first. You pressed it so fast.
Yeah, they're dead. He'll do. Fuck, they're not gonna be.
I don't know.
It's gonna be close. Medica doesn't take a turn count, right?
Correct.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, we're fine.
Do you have any other calls you can pop?
Yeah. Man, I really wish I knew that was gonna happen. I would have been able to finish this fight like 6 turns earlier.
Look at it. You're good. You're good.
Anyway, before I got
That call coming in.
literally,
Use the brave heals. They're free battery.
literally right before I got stabbed in the back by my co-host and friends, I was talking about these events. I love these events. This is the wait. Should I do damage or not?
A single target of Flawless probably does like more than a Cypher turn, so yeah.
I'd say go for it.
I also have 3 turns. We'll be fine. This is the best kind of content to me. Abyss is kind of I like Abyss. I like Abyss, but Abyss requires a lot of trash nodes. It's fun, but it's kind of time. The time to fun ratio isn't the same as this. This is just straight into the Lufanias. You're just
Nice.
You're tested by the content instead of a lot of times, especially LCs and stuff. I mean, pretty much everyone in this scraped by. Wait, beautiful, smooth. Couldn't have been easier. A lot of us, pretty much everyone here is from it hangs out in the TCC. A lot of content we spend making it harder on ourselves. You know what I mean? We get an LC fight and we don't want to burst. We don't want to friend unit. We don't want to stuff like this. While it's not a lot harder, it's a little more fun because it locks people out. It's old bosses you fought already, but it's global first puzzles to solve. You know what I mean? Boss Rush kind of the same thing, but this is like a global first puzzle. And people with a lot of units on their roster, we like to bring out those units. That's why we do TCC challenges. I put the Discord in the chat, but we like to challenge ourselves and have fun. And stuff like this is fun. To me, Abyss used to be the most fun you can have in this game, like organically, because it locks everybody out. You got to follow the codes. For me, this is the peak. This is what Squex has to try to. I wouldn't mind if they did one of these a month at the beginning of every month. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, too much content. I don't want to play that much." If they did one of these every month, I think it would be fucking awesome. Like,
yeah, I think something you mentioned that's really nice is that you can just like do the Lufenias straight away. There's like no bullshit beforehand that you have to grind through. And
Right.
I think the Abyss Lufenias have either been too easy to make them not impossible, or too hard to the point of being impossible without very specific combos. So
Right.
they like never really found the right balance for the Abyss Lufenias. So it seems like they're doing a better job with these Equinox ones. Like some were hard, some were easy, some were in between. I think it's like a good range so far. So yeah, big fan.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. The live stream every Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We beat the one Lufania. We don't have enough time to run the other ones. I might do them later this week, or maybe in Discord. But thanks again, Bl'Art. You have any parting shots for me? You turncoat.
Oh man, I'm gonna be having to do some serious lifting, making sure you guys don't like blow up on each other before we do our next stream.
Ooh, it's bad. It's bad in here. It's a little tense. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. You guys think it's a big old joke? Everybody's joking around. It's a little tense. It's a little tense. Blart, go ahead.
I'm gonna spend this week reading up on football, so I know how to appropriately trash the teams that you root for.
That is a villain. That's a villain thing to say. It's a villain thing to do. I respect it.
Gotta make fun of Liverpool, Bart.
Whoa.
What was that?
Gotta make fun of Liverpool.
It's the most dearest thing to my heart. I hope that my girlfriend or my fiance, our children don't hear that, but it is the dearest thing to my heart. So tread carefully. Is that it, Blart? You got anything else?
No, I think it just we've covered it. We've had some pretty fun events. The Setzer thing was, maybe a cloud on the horizon, so to speak. But overall, I'm feeling pretty good about this game, and I'm enjoying playing it.
Me too. We're in a great era, if you ask me. Zoe, anything? Any parting words?
Not really. Looking forward to Tier 4 Transcendence. Those should be some fun fights. I guess I want to say, I think the characters coming up for this month are pretty fun. So even if you're, a little worried about Lufenia Plus, don't be. And, if you feel like you'll enjoy the kits of these characters, I would just pull them. I think they're all, useful, except Barrett. Sorry, Barrett. He's, you can make him work, but there's not really a point to doing it. But, yeah, just enjoy the content before Lufenia Plus. Vaughn, if you're struggling, will absolutely carry you through it, so it could be a good pickup. Yep, that's it.
For sure. I just want to thank everybody for coming around. I want to thank you guys. This is the 5th time we've done this. We're having a lot of fun, seeing a lot of the same faces, seeing a lot of new faces, which is great. I just linked Bl'Art and Zoe's YouTubes. Follow them. They do a lot of awesome runs. Bl'Art does videos for pool videos and should you pools. Zoe's working on some class stuff, really cool learning. She did one. What'd you do? You did a Kurosame one, right? For teaching.
I did the team building one. That was a while ago. That was for Eldnarsh and Aroha. The next one is gonna be for Core and Titas and stuff like that.
Yeah. So follow Zoe and check that out when she drops it. We really appreciate you guys' support. We're having a lot of fun. We hope you guys have a lot of fun as well. We'll be back next Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is anything coming out? There's something coming out on my birthday.
I think Yuna comes out before we stream. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Yuna will have dropped by then, so we'll definitely be covering that for sure.
So we'll be talking about Yuna. If you guys want to chat with us, we are always in the TCC Discord. I'm dropping the link there. A lot of other people to help. If you're struggling, if you're a new face, you're having trouble with Lufenia, come hang out with us there. But we'll see you guys next week, Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you guys for hanging out with us, man. Yuna dropped the link.
Adios.
Thanks for coming.
See you guys.